Hey you guys, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley.
Everything in this video is located on a public domain.
Lots of love and many blessings your way. You guys, I'm about to share with you what was shared with me and via my journalist friend as to why the Queen will not speak on Meghan and Harry at the moment. And I appreciate you very much, Jay. Right before the Balmoral invitation to watch those games had been extended to Harry and Meghan, some serious words were exchanged between Harry and Prince Philip. And according to my journalist friend, Harry was directing his fury at both the Queen and Prince Philip, but the Queen didn't get too much involved. Philip handled that. Her private secretary ended up stepping in on the phone and ending the conversation. According to the insiders, and I'm assuming it's the staff, her secretary was trying to calm Harry down. It had everything to do with the private jet situation. Also, the Queen had asked Elton, please don't get involved in their situations. And that really ticked Harry and Meghan off. They're questioning all these charities and organizations like Travelist and TripAdvisor, the whole visa deal. A little bit later, the Queen had just put all that to the side for, the time she's spending at Balmoral. So she had invited Meghan and Harry after this fuss to the Highland Games, in which Harry and Meghan totally agreed to go to the games. Next thing we know, he's avoiding all calls. They can't get a hold of him. Meghan's at the tennis match. And that's when they told the Queen that Archie was just way too young. In fact, they didn't even respond to the Queen until after she got back from New York. And here's where it gets nasty. The Queen felt like there were so many charity organizations and things coming from this foundation recently. Just making sure everything was dotted and crossed, she had her people look through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And as a result of this, they found things they're just not too happy about. She has an entire Hollywood team back in California still working for her. The TIG is being reinstated. She has this Frim Fram incorporation, her hands in. More like Flim Flam, if you ask me. But the big situation is this. There's huge amounts of money missing right now. For example, startup funds for Travelist and almost $3 million from Disney. It's also being said that they leased a new office building to get away from Buckingham, away from the Queen's watchful eye. They've even talked about getting Prince Harry and Meghan out of the family. They're causing such huge problems. They're supposedly going to be coming together and talking some things out here in the upcoming days before he leaves for Africa. And that is why she doesn't even want to talk about them. They've caused so many problems. We're not the only ones that have noticed a strange difference in Harry and Meghan. Evidently, everybody around them have noticed it too. They say he's been high-strung, quick-tempered, very pale and peaked, just not keeping his wits about him. As it was told to me, when Harry and Meghan aren't at each other's throats, which is like 95% of the time, they're very codependent on one another. And we watched her. She went from laughing to crying to talking to herself to laughing at herself back to crying. Harry especially seems to be just absolutely off the charts emotionally. Everybody's talking about their appearance. They're saying they've been just shaggy looking, dirty looking. Their teeth, their hair, their clothes, everything's been sloppy. Even more now than before. I'm gonna tell you, back then I didn't think it could get much worse. But it has. Here's what I remember. In the very beginning, there was this picture that they came out from around the corner after they had been partying all night. And that picture speaks volumes. It really does. They were both Willie Nelson wasted. I'm talking tore up. Check it out. I don't get a hey, we're a little drunk vibe from that picture at all. Her jaw is constantly clenching, as is his. And everybody knows that's a sign. Now, in the comment section, people were telling me, hey, she's got saddle nose deformity, as does Harry. I'll be 44 in just a little bit, and in all my life, I had never heard of this saddle nose deformity, ever. There's not but a few things that cause it. Trauma to the nose is one of the causes. If somebody breaks your nose, I guess this is what happens. And I thank the Lord that all 3 times I've had mine busted, it didn't do this. They say an STD, a congenital STD, can result in this saddle nose deformity. And the other big reason is Coke. And when you add up everything, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be an STD or a broken nose. And I appreciate y'all pointing that out to me. I had no idea. Their entire look has changed, you guys. Face it. Do you know what Kelly Clarkson said? Thank you, Natural Mystic, by the way. I appreciate you very much. I don't know why she doesn't look like herself. Where's the real Meghan gone, and how much are they paying this clone? People are trying to say it's due to his lack of sleep. It's due to her lack of sleep. It's due to them having this baby. We all know the baby doesn't exist. So I'm not really buying that. I'm glad that we're not the only ones that have seen this transformation take place. As it was told to me, they are still partying, you guys, even now. There's a house that belongs to Soho House that they like to stay up all night and have a good time at. Almost like Uncle Andy going over to Courtney's house. It seems to me like this is just the norm for these people. Every one of them. Some can handle it and some can't. This year has been one of the wildest in my memory for the royal family in quite some time. Since the guy dangled out of the top room. Since Cam Loop's kids went missing. Since the dead teenager turned up on their property. Since the murder of Diana. It seems to be endless with these people. And if you haven't heard, they've had a concierge down in California looking around for homes in the last year and a half. People are now saying they're close to maybe buying one. It's around $14 million. Can you imagine? $14 million would go so far if you stayed humble. I can't fathom the help that I could do for people, and totally would do for people if I had $14 million in my pocket. They know they've pushed the envelope. They know they've crossed the line. They're of course calling it their summer home. Just don't see that happening. Not that way. Also, what's been told to me, and we don't know this for a fact, it's just going around in the air, that Meghan will not be with Harry on the Africa trip. I'm curious to see how this goes down. You guys, I'm just so close with the help of a couple of really great friends. We've made a few discoveries of our very own, and I thank you, Kay, and I appreciate you, little detective. It's all coming out fitting perfectly together, you guys. Hang tight, we'll talk about that next. I thank you for watching. I'll see you soon, and we'll talk fast. Stay safe and be blessed.